we've been tracking the way that coronavirus cases have been spreading across the United States and the globe, really. And when we look at those things, there have been a lot of concerns about what could happen as local states and economies reopen here, as pretty much all 50 now are in some state of reopening. And one model that we've been tracking has always raised concerns that we might see those case counts continue to rise as the economies reopen across the country. But an interesting update from that Penn Wharton model is looking into why those fears might be overblown. And Yahoo Finance's Kristin Myers has been digging into that for us. And Kristin, I mean, we just saw Texas over the weekend post its worst day for coronavirus cases on Saturday. So, I mean, we are potentially seeing these cases come up, but what are they saying about the risks and deaths that could come from all this?
That's right, Zach. And actually, when it comes specifically to Texas, a lot of the headlines say, listen, Texas decided to reopen and now it's seeing a caseload spike. Texas actually said, well, no, actually, we decided to increase our testing, but the percentage of positive cases as a part of that total testing number continues to decline. So the jury seems to still be out on whether to reopen or not reopen the state. The Penn Wharton Budget Model, which we've discussed those numbers before, has a new revision out today with some of those projections. So I kind of really quickly want to run through some of the scenarios that they highlight. So when it comes to those positive case numbers, right now, if we do not reopen any of the states, which of course is not going to happen because we have many states open already, but the positive case number is going to be 2.9 million. Partial reopening, that case number is going to jump to 3.2 million. Now, here's what's concerning. If we see all of the states reopening, that number is a 4.3 million number of total positive cases. So that's a huge number, Zach. Now, I want to remind everyone that these are cumulative totals, but the projections for the Penn Wharton Budget Model essentially posits that the reopening of those states happens today, May the 18th. But again, these numbers are cumulative, so they would include positive case numbers from way before, from several weeks ago and several months ago. Now, I want to talk about the projected death totals. Again, no reopening of the states. That figure stands at just under 160,000 people, which is, again, a very large number. And for context, much higher than the current death total, which currently stands at roughly 90,000. Now, if we partially reopen, again, we're going to see a slight jump up there in terms of the projected death. In terms of projected deaths, that number would be about 173,000. Now, if we fully reopen, that death total then leaps up to 230,000, Zach. Now, I want to mention here that previously, when we've talked about the Penn Wharton Budget Model numbers, that death total actually stood at 350,000. So I guess in somewhat of a good news, these figures are starting to be revised downward. Now, I want to be clear here. This is actually if all social distancing rules maintain and stay in place if these states decide to reopen. I want to tell you what those numbers are, though. If everyone just decides, listen, we're going to live life like we were before, no social distancing in place at all, that death total leaps from 230,000 to 293,000, Zach. And then that number of positive cases also is going to tick upward from 4.3 million to roughly 5.4 million. Now, to be clear, these numbers are still much, much higher than what we've seen in other models that we've even discussed on this show. The University of Washington is still projecting the total number of deaths to 150,000, and that's by August 4th. Now, when it comes to these figures from the Penn Wharton Budget Model, these numbers are by July 24th. So these numbers are still much higher than some of the other projections that we are currently seeing out there. And just for context, right now, Zach, that current case total stands at roughly 1.5 million. And again, the current death toll from this terrible virus stands at about 90,000. So it's a lot for government officials and public officials to consider as they decide to reopen their states and see perhaps even their own numbers spike over the coming days and weeks, Zach.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes to show that we're not in the clear by any means when you think about still how many cases are expected to be reported as we move along. But Kristin Myers bringing us the latest update on the actual data front there.
Hey investors, Zack Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.